Excuse me. I am standing right outside the famous front door of Katz's Delicatessen on Houston Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan in New York City for the very first time. And I want to grab my counter ticket and order the best hand-carved pastrami sandwich like a local, but I do not know what to say in English.
Hi, I am Emma. Today's English is slow and easy. Just relax and listen along. Have you ever walked through the front door of a packed legendary deli? Grabbed a little paper ticket from a friendly host? And just frozen? Long polished steel counter, warm fresh pastrami stacked high under the carving lights, smoky salami hanging from a high tin ceiling, the spicy smell of brown mustard and warm rye bread in the air, a friendly Katz's Delicatessen carver standing behind the counter with a warm smile, a small line of hungry locals waiting for their hand-carved sandwich. And you thought, I want the best hand-carved pastrami sandwich of the day. But how do I even order? Where do the locals actually sit? What if I sound like a clueless tourist? Today, Hannah is going to walk through the famous front door of one of the most legendary delis in all of New York City. Katz's Delicatessen on the corner of Houston Street and Ludlow Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. The world-famous Jewish deli opened since 1888. Hand-carved pastrami on rye, warm crinkly rye bread, spicy brown mustard, crisp half-sour pickles, the long polished steel counter, the famous ticket system, the smoky salami hanging from the high tin ceiling. The whole heart of old New York packed into one legendary deli on Houston Street. And here is the magic part. Hannah is going to use one tiny, polite phrase with a friendly Katz's Delicatessen carver that will turn a packed deli counter into her personal Katz's pastrami tour and score her the legendary hand-carved pastrami sandwich of the day. You can use this exact phrase the next time you want the best sandwich at any deli, anywhere in the world. So grab your appetite. Let us head into Katz's Delicatessen. Welcome back to Easy English with Emma. Today, Hannah is starting her warm lunchtime hour at the famous front door of Katz's Delicatessen on the corner of Houston Street and Ludlow Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, stepping in from the busy sidewalk into the warm bustling deli hall. In front of her, the famous front door of Katz's, the small ticket booth right inside the entrance, the friendly host of Katz's Delicatessen smiling warmly with a stack of little paper counter tickets, the long polished steel counter stretching down the right side of the deli, the warm fresh pastrami stacked high under the carving lights, the smoky salami hanging from the high tin ceiling, the long wooden tables packed with locals and tourists side by side, the warm spicy smell of brown mustard and warm rye bread filling the whole deli. She has 3 missions. 1. Grab her counter ticket from the friendly host at the front door of Katz's Delicatessen and ask about the famous Katz's counter system. 2. Walk up to the long polished steel counter at Katz's and ask a veteran carver for the best hand-carved pastrami on rye of the day. 3. Pay at the register at the front of Katz's Delicatessen and ask the friendly cashier for the best side, the best drink, and the best way to enjoy a real Katz's pastrami sandwich. In the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, walking into a packed legendary deli like Katz's Delicatessen can feel overwhelming. Long counter, ticket system, hungry locals, the spicy smell of warm pastrami in the air. But do not worry. With the right polite phrases, even the busiest carver at Katz's will smile and slide you the best hand-carved pastrami sandwich of the day. By the end of this video, you will be able to walk into a real New York City deli like Katz's Delicatessen with confidence. Use the magic phrase to ask a veteran carver for the best hand-carved pastrami sandwich of the day, not just any sandwich. Talk about real New York deli life. Hand-carved pastrami, rye bread, brown mustard, pickles, the ticket system, the long counter. in simple, natural English, and enjoy Katz's Delicatessen like a real Lower East Side local. Ready? Let us grab a ticket at Katz's. Here are today's 5 Katz's Delicatessen key phrases. Repeat each one with me. Nice and slow. Key phrase 1. Could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day? Could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day? Beautiful. This is today's magic phrase. Use it with a friendly carver at Katz's Delicatessen. Or any worker at any deli, sandwich shop, or counter spot in the world. Instead of, "What's good?" or "What do you have?" you are asking for the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day. Suddenly that veteran carver becomes your personal Katz's sandwich guide. Key phrase 2. What's the best way to enjoy a Katz's pastrami sandwich? What's the best way to enjoy a Katz's pastrami sandwich? Lovely. Use this with any friendly worker at Katz's Delicatessen. Asking about the best way to enjoy. Instead of just, "How do I eat it?" Invites the worker to share the real story behind the warm rye bread, the spicy brown mustard, the crisp pickles, and the legendary hand-carved pastrami sliced fresh in front of you at the counter of Katz's. Key phrase 3. Could you recommend the perfect thickness? Could you recommend the perfect thickness? Great. Use this at the long polished steel counter of Katz's Delicatessen. A small open question turns a quiet carver into a whole afternoon of Katz's sandwich tips. The classic medium-thick hand-carved slice, the thicker juicy cut, the perfect ratio of warm pastrami to warm rye bread, the perfect bite that Lower East Side locals love best. Key phrase 4. Where do locals actually sit? Where do locals actually sit? Perfect. A super useful phrase at any packed deli in New York City. Asking where locals actually sit. Instead of just, "Where can I sit?" Get you the quiet long wooden table near the back, the warm corner spot under the smoky salami, the perfect seat for your Katz's pastrami lunch. Simple, friendly, and works at every deli in Manhattan and beyond. Key phrase 5. What's the best side to go with the pastrami? What's the best side to go with the pastrami? Wonderful. Use this with a friendly cashier at the register of Katz's Delicatessen. Delis have layers. The warm pastrami on rye, the crisp half-sour pickles, the cold cream soda, the side of slaw. Asking this tiny question turns a register cashier into your personal Katz's lunch planner. One small question, a whole hour of insider deli tips along the Houston Street counter of Katz's. These 5 phrases are gold for Katz's Delicatessen. And for any deli, sandwich shop, or counter spot in the world. Now let us see Hannah use them at Katz's Delicatessen. Alright. Hannah has just stepped through the famous front door of Katz's Delicatessen on the corner of Houston Street and Ludlow Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, the warm spicy smell of hand-carved pastrami and warm rye bread wrapping around her instantly. The bright lunchtime deli buzzes warmly around her. The long polished steel counter stretching down the right side of the hall, the smoky salami hanging from the high tin ceiling, the long wooden tables packed with hungry locals and tourists side by side, the warm carving lights glowing softly over the counter. Right by the famous ticket booth just inside the front door of Katz's stands Tony. A friendly Italian-American man in his late 50s with warm tan skin, short salt and pepper hair, kind eyes, and an easy welcoming smile, wearing a plain white short-sleeved deli shirt under a plain white apron, his hands resting easily near a small stack of little plain paper counter tickets, looking up with a warm patient smile as Hannah steps into the deli.
Hi. Sorry to bother you. Wow, this is my first time at Katz's Delicatessen. This place is incredible.
Welcome to Katz's. You picked a great moment. The lunch rush just settled down about 10 minutes ago, perfect time at the counter. Is this your very first time in the Lower East Side?
Yes. I just rode the subway down from Midtown Manhattan. How does the ticket system at Katz's Delicatessen work?
Great question. Here at Katz's, every guest grabs a little paper counter ticket right here at the front door. You hand it to the carver at the long polished steel counter when you order your hand-carved pastrami sandwich. The carver writes your order on the ticket. Then you pay at the register on your way out. Lose the ticket and there's a small fee. So hold it tight. That ticket system has been the Katz's way since 1888.
Wow, since 1888. And the long counter. Is that where I order the pastrami on rye?
You got it. Walk right up to the long polished steel counter on the right side. The carvers slice the warm pastrami fresh by hand. No machines. No shortcuts. Just a sharp knife, warm fresh pastrami, warm rye bread, and over 135 years of Lower East Side tradition. That's the heart of Katz's Delicatessen.
That sounds amazing. Should I head to the counter next?
Absolutely. And one more tip. My buddy Marco is working the counter today. Veteran carver. 25 years at Katz's. Tell him Tony at the door sent you. He knows every cut of pastrami since the early 2000s. He'll slice you the best hand-carved pastrami sandwich in the whole deli.
Wow, thank you so much, Tony. You just turned the Katz's Delicatessen ticket booth into my whole orientation.
That's what we do here. Welcome to Katz's. And welcome to the Lower East Side.
Wonderful, Hannah. Look at how she started. Hi. Sorry to bother you. Wow, this is my first time at Katz's Delicatessen. This place is incredible. 3 tiny ideas, but they do so much work. Sorry to bother you plus first time plus a real compliment about Katz's. That's a magic combo at any deli in the world. Tony instantly wanted to help. Then the big one. How does the ticket system at Katz's Delicatessen work? Notice. She did not say. What do I do? Or where do I go? She asked specifically about the famous Katz's ticket system. Those exact words turned Tony from a quiet ticket booth host into her personal Katz's orientation guide. Also notice. Hannah asked a beautiful follow-up question. And the long counter. Is that where I order the pastrami on rye? That tiny question gave her the carver story, the 1888 tradition, the no machines hand-carving detail, and a personal recommendation to find Marco at the counter. 1 question is good. 2 questions turn a deli host into a guide. Use these phrases anywhere. At a deli, at a sandwich shop, at a counter spot, at Katz's Delicatessen in the Lower East Side, anywhere in the world. Politeness plus asking about the system with real curiosity equals friends and incredible local food tips. Hannah walks a few steps from the front door ticket booth of Katz's Delicatessen along the long polished steel counter, the warm spicy smell of hand-carved pastrami wrapping around her, past the carving lights glowing softly over warm fresh pastrami stacked high, toward the middle section of the counter where the veteran carvers work. The deli hall of Katz's hums warmly with the sound of slicing knives, hungry chatter, and the soft clink of plates. Along the long polished steel counter, the warm fresh pastrami glows pink and juicy under the carving lights, big crinkly loaves of warm rye bread wait beside the carvers, jars of spicy brown mustard and crisp half-sour pickles sit along the counter edge. At the middle of the counter, Marco. A friendly veteran carver in his 50s with kind eyes, warm olive skin, dark hair lightly graying at the temples, and a calm welcoming smile, wearing a plain white short-sleeved deli shirt under a plain white apron. Stands with one hand resting easily on the polished counter beside a long carving knife and a warm fresh pastrami, looking up with a warm patient smile.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt. Tony at the front door sent me over. He said you're the man for Katz's Delicatessen pastrami.
Ah, Tony. Of course he did. He sends all the first-timers down to my counter. Welcome to Katz's. What can I do for you?
Marco, could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day?
Oh, with pleasure. Easy answer. The classic hand-carved pastrami on rye with spicy brown mustard. Warm fresh pastrami, hand-carved right here in front of you, piled high on 2 slices of warm crinkly rye bread, a generous swipe of spicy brown mustard, a crisp half-sour pickle on the side. Nothing fancy. No lettuce. No tomato. No mayo. Just pastrami, rye, mustard, pickle. That's the Katz's Delicatessen classic. Same way we've made it since 1888.
That sounds perfect. And could you recommend the perfect thickness?
Now that's the right question. Okay. The classic Katz's hand-carved slice is medium thick. Thick enough to feel the warm juicy pastrami between your teeth, thin enough to melt against the warm rye bread. Watch. I'm slicing it for you right now. Slow, steady, by hand. No machines. Each slice glows warm and pink under the carving lights. That's the perfect Katz's thickness. The Lower East Side way.
That sounds incredible. How long have you been carving at Katz's?
25 years. Started right here at this counter when I was younger. Same warm fresh pastrami. Same warm crinkly rye bread. Same spicy brown mustard. Same long polished steel counter. The faces along the counter change, but Katz's Delicatessen stays the same. That's why we love it on Houston Street.
Wow, Marco, that's incredible. What's the best way to enjoy a Katz's pastrami sandwich?
Great follow-up question. Take your hand-carved pastrami on rye to a long wooden table. Spread the spicy brown mustard right onto the warm rye bread. Take a big bite. Warm pastrami, spicy mustard, crisp pickle on the side, cold cream soda to wash it down. Don't rush. Don't take photos for 10 whole minutes. Just eat. That's the Katz's way.
That makes so much sense. Thank you so much, Marco.
Pay at the register on your way out. And hey, my buddy Sam is on the register today. Older gentleman, very kind. Tell him Marco sent you. He'll set you up with the best side, the best drink, and the best long wooden table in all of Katz's Delicatessen.
I'll go find him right now. Thank you, Marco.
Welcome to Katz's. Come back to my counter anytime.
Amazing. Look at what just happened at the long polished steel counter of Katz's Delicatessen in the Lower East Side. Hannah did not just get a sandwich recommendation. She got the whole story of the deli. The classic pastrami on rye, the perfect medium-thick hand-carved slice, the 1888 tradition, the 25 years behind the counter. And a personal introduction to Sam at the register. Why did the magic phrase work so well? Could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day? Let us break it down. Could you recommend? Equals polite. Soft, open, friendly. Marco relaxed instantly. The best classic pastrami sandwich. Equals specific. You are asking for the best, not just any sandwich. Classic makes Marco smile. You are not asking for something fancy, you are asking like a real local. Of the day. Equals grounded. You are showing you trust Marco's daily judgment at the counter of Katz's. Also notice. Hannah mentioned. Tony at the front door sent me over. That tiny phrase is golden at a packed deli. It tells Marco. Hey, I'm already part of the Katz's family. Suddenly the whole deli is on your team. And the simple line. What's the best way to enjoy a Katz's pastrami sandwich? Confident, soft, polite. A small open question is the gentlest way to invite a whole Lower East Side lunch ritual. Use these reactions everywhere in Manhattan and beyond. Hannah walks the long polished steel counter of Katz's Delicatessen from the middle carving station back toward the front of the deli to the register, her warm hand-carved pastrami on rye tucked safely on her tray, the warm spicy smell of pastrami and rye bread still rising softly from the plate. The deli hall of Katz's glows warmly with carving lights pouring over the long counter, the long wooden tables humming softly with friendly chatter from locals and tourists side by side. Right by the register at the front of Katz's Delicatessen, in a warm sunny spot near the front windows with the busy sidewalk of Houston Street visible just outside, stands Sam, a friendly older gentleman in his 60s with kind eyes, neatly combed silver hair, warm fair skin, and a wide easy smile, wearing a plain white short-sleeved deli shirt under a plain white apron, gently arranging a small stack of little plain paper counter tickets beside the register, a few other guests at nearby tables enjoying their warm pastrami lunches.
Hi. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. Marco at the counter sent me over. This is my first lunch at Katz's Delicatessen and he said you're the man for Lower East Side tips.
Marco sent you? Then welcome to Katz's. 30 years working the register here on Houston Street, and a first-timer with a warm pastrami sandwich is still my favorite kind of guest. What can I do for you?
Sam, what's the best side to go with the pastrami?
Beautiful question. Okay. Here's how locals eat at Katz's. First, always the crisp half-sour pickle on the side. Always. That's the Katz's Delicatessen rule. Then, if you want a real Lower East Side lunch, add a small side of warm potato lax or a small cup of cold creamy slaw. Then, the perfect drink. A cold cream soda or a Dr. Brown's black cherry. Sip slow. Eat slow. Take 20 quiet minutes. That's a perfect Katz's afternoon.
That sounds magical, Sam. Is Katz's Delicatessen always this lively?
Pretty much. Katz's is the beating heart of the Lower East Side on Houston Street. Locals on lunch breaks, tourists with cameras, families with kids, neighborhood regulars who've been coming since the 1970s. Everybody passes through this deli. That's why Katz's Delicatessen stays warm and busy from morning to night.
Wow. And the long wooden tables. Where do locals actually sit?
Most warm lunchtimes, locals drift to the long wooden tables along the right wall, just past the long polished steel counter. Quiet corner. Warm carving lights. Smoky salami hanging from the high tin ceiling right above. The perfect seat for your hand-carved pastrami on rye. Some days a regular from the 1990s sits at the same table. Some days a small line of tourists waits just behind. The long wooden tables are part of the heart of Katz's.
That's amazing. What's the best way to enjoy a Katz's pastrami sandwich?
Great question. Sit at one of the long wooden tables. Open your hand-carved pastrami on rye slowly. Spread the spicy brown mustard right onto the warm rye bread. Take a big warm bite. Pickle on the side. Cold cream soda. Don't take photos for 10 whole minutes. Just eat. That's the Katz's Delicatessen way. Go grab a table. I'll keep an eye on the front door.
Wow, Sam, thank you so much. You just made my whole afternoon at Katz's.
Eat warm, eat slow, and come back to Katz's Delicatessen anytime. Every afternoon on Houston Street is a different New York story.
Wonderful. Hannah just stepped into one of the most legendary delis in all of New York City. Katz's Delicatessen on the corner of Houston Street and Ludlow Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And used 5 tiny, polite phrases to score the best hand-carved pastrami on rye of the day, the perfect medium-thick slice, and a personal afternoon plan from Sam at the register. Notice. The biggest phrase of the day was, "Could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day?" It worked perfectly with Marco at the long polished steel counter. The words, "The best classic pastrami sandwich of the day," are the secret. They work at any deli, any sandwich shop, any counter spot, anywhere in the world. Politeness plus asking for the best classic sandwich of the day equals friendly carvers turn into guides, friends, and personal lunch tours. At Katz's Delicatessen, in the Lower East Side, in Manhattan, in any city, in any country. Okay. Now it is quiz time. Quiz time. When Hannah walked up to the long polished steel counter at Katz's Delicatessen, she could have just said, "What's good?" Or "What do you have?" Instead, she used one little phrase that turned a packed deli counter into her personal Katz's pastrami tour and scored her the legendary hand-carved pastrami on rye of the day. What was that magic phrase? A. What's good? B. Could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day? C. What do you have? Write A, B, or C in the comments right now. I read every single comment and I will reply to let you know if you got it right. Amazing work today, everyone. Now you have 5 powerful phrases that will turn any deli and any friendly carver anywhere in the world into a smooth, warm, beautiful moment. Could you recommend the best classic pastrami sandwich of the day? What's the best way to enjoy a Katz's pastrami sandwich? Could you recommend the perfect thickness? Where do locals actually sit? What's the best side to go with the pastrami? Remember, Katz's Delicatessen on the corner of Houston Street and Ludlow Street in the Lower East Side of Manhattan has been the heart of the New York City deli world since 1888. The long polished steel counter, the hand-carved pastrami on rye, the warm crinkly rye bread, the spicy brown mustard, the crisp half-sour pickles, the famous ticket system, the smoky salami hanging from the high tin ceiling. With these 5 phrases, you don't just visit Katz's Delicatessen. You become part of the story of the Lower East Side. If this video helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe to Easy English with Emma. It seriously means the world to me. And next time, Hannah is going to walk a few blocks north from the Lower East Side and ride the subway up to Midtown Manhattan for a real New York City afternoon at one of the most iconic train stations in all of the world. Grand Central Terminal. The legendary Beaux-Arts Railway Terminal on 42nd Street with its breathtaking starry green ceiling, its famous 4-faced opal clock above the marble main concourse, and its hidden whispering gallery beneath the oyster bar. Wait till you hear the one polite phrase Hannah uses with a friendly Grand Central Terminal info booth worker that turns a packed main concourse into her personal Grand Central tour and scores her the best secret spot in the whole station. You will use this exact phrase the next time you want the best tip at any train station, anywhere in the world. See you next time. Bye-bye.